Hi everyone, it's Harry. Uh, this is my vlog for the third week of May, potentially the fourth week, I guess. I've been waiting for what some of the Bank of Canada announcements have been made. They still are concerned with regard to the economy, and in fact, inflation. Although inflation overall looks well within control, if you strip out what they call the energy components, which has been affected by the recent removal of the carbon tax, our inflation numbers are above their levels. So it's a 50-50 chance whether, in my mind, the Bank of Canada will reduce the rates at the beginning of June. If they do so, we will see a potential uplift in overall pricing in Calgary, or maybe even balance because the economy is weakening. We see that in unemployment numbers and a few other things. However, what I've noticed in the data for May is that people have basically that are financially stable have just gotten off the pot, so to speak. They've decided to dip into the market. As I've indicated, if you're a buyer, you should consider buying because you can never predict the low of the market. So there's a good time to buy, and I think people are finally dipping in, especially in the detached market, that which is almost half of our overall market with respect to numbers, and obviously with value, it's a significant portion. The current average pricing is similar to last month's, but it's all driven by the detached market, which has climbed to about 840 to 850 range on average. So what we're seeing is that although the market is balanced overall, the detached and semi-detached markets are still in that seller's market. Although the semi-detached market has been flirting with becoming balanced. Same thing with the detached market. So what we're seeing is that people are finally dipping into the water and acquiring properties, and at least on the detached level and to some degree on a semi-detached level, because they've gotten tired of waiting and tired of what the U.S. have been doing with regard to their tariff wars. So things are moving upward. But overall, if we look at the seasonal trends, I would expect our overall pricing to drift downward for the rest of the year because it tends to drift downward towards summer, and we're headed into summer right now. There might be some pent up demand, things that might keep our pricing relatively stable, but I think we've seen probably close to the high water mark for this year, unless something really changes in the tariff situation. Because even though the U.S. has taken a more relaxed tariff stance, they still have it as a 90-day pause, if you will. And we've seen that recently, their Europe push out as well. So there's no guarantees that they won't revert to the harsh, hawkish stance. So we'll see how everything revolves. So I reiterate that I still believe it's a decent market to buy in. If you're selling, if you can wait, that'd be a great thing. I mean, and I don't mean wait a month. I mean literally wait 6 months to a year to next spring's market. Whereas in a buy point, no one can ever predict the low, but I would suggest we're quite close to the low in the interim low right now. So it's a continually good time to buy. But one thing everyone has to keep in mind, although I say these things, sales are down 20% across the board. And quite frankly, what gives you an indication that, we're headed into this balanced market, our inventory overall is at a 6-year high. And for the detached and semi-detached markets, at a 4-year high. Unless pent-up demand can get rid of that, it just doesn't talk to a high price increases in housing prices. I would suggest that we've reached a plateau for the time being, if anything, and you might see a slight drift downward to last year's averages. I've been predicting that we will be, when this year is done, the averages will be comparable to last year, not a significant increase. And if you looked at the semi-detached townhome and apartment condo market, that's the case. The only market that's up, truly up, is the detached market. So hopefully this gives you some insight on what I'm thinking for the summer. And if you got any questions, as always, please reach out. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend. Bye now.